My social experiment focused on looking at norms involved with academics at Emory. Emory is a strong academic institution, and therefore the academic culture at Emory is heavily prioritized. I chose to attempt to distract students that looked like they were in a hurry to get to class in the hope that students would become upset at my clear norm violation and respond with negative sanctions. I expected strong negative sanctions because the expectation at Emory is that academics are everyone's number one priority. Because of this, social norms reflect the importance the average student places on school. The wide belief here is that everyone understands these social norms and therefore these norms are seldom broken. So what I did is I would stand outside Asbury Circle at times where people were in a rush to get to class. So before like an 11:30 class or a 12 o'clock class, and look for students that were in a hurry. If someone was clearly in a rush, I would make a point to go talk to them. And once I was talking to these students, I would the plan was for me to ask questions and keep the conversation going for as long as possible in hopes to either make them late for class or incite negative sanctions against myself for my norm violation. What I found was it was very, very tough to get myself to break these norms because there are immense social pressures to conform to what is normal here. And especially in the context of Emory, no one wants to be someone who distracts students from their academic endeavors. And it was really tough for me at the start. So in my first encounter, I asked a stranger and they responded to my question, and then I just couldn't keep it going. I just said thank you and left. And I think the reason that happened was because I was uncomfortable breaking these through this social mold. As I went on, though, I found it was easier, and I just kind of explained to myself that I'm doing this for the sake of an experiment, and so I could get through that block of breaking through that social pressure to conform to what is normal. And after that, I found that there were pretty much two reactions that you could face, and they depended on who the person was I was talking to. With strangers, they would answer my questions. So I would ask as many unnecessary questions as I could, where is this building? Which year are you? What are you doing this weekend? And just keep the conversation going. And what I found was that the only negative sanction that I really got from strangers was that they would back away, they would act uninterested in the conversation, and they would just inch towards the next class. But nothing really too severe came from strangers. What the most severe negative sanction I actually got was from one of my friends who I just tried to keep a conversation going with, but they immediately recognized that I was acting unusually. And because of that, they just shut it down. They said, Billy, I have to go. I have to get to class. I can't talk right now. And that was the strongest negative sanction I got. But for the most part, I found that people were uncomfortable to express themselves. And I think that's a norm in itself. People become uncomfortable around a norm violation. And because of that, they almost shut down. And the biggest thing I found was that no one really wants to just express themselves to a stranger, because that in itself is a norm. No one wants to be the person who just is all over the place and just saying all these things, these personal details about their lives. And I thought it was very interesting to see how people reacted differently depending on who they were and just the context of the situation.